Welcome back, YouTube. Thank you for being here. Today I'm just gonna bring you a deck profile post Maze of Millenia for Virtual World. Maze of Millenia brought us a new trap in Transaction Rollback, which is gonna be changing the way we play Virtual Worlds. There are different variants like Brave, we have the Armored Core, and now we have this variant, which I think is the strongest just because of how you lock your opponent. It's almost a turn skip, right? Virtual World, for me, it's in a good position. Obviously, you cannot compare it to Fire Kings or Labyrinth or these top tier decks, but it can make a good run for your money. It can win a tournament, in my opinion. It just depends on you opening the correct hands and not breaking, which is the downfall for any Virtual World deck, right? Without further ado, let's just get onto the deck profile. I'll show you guys a little combo later and what the Emperor looks like, which is 2 cards right now, which is pretty good. For the main deck, we have our monsters. Obviously, the 3 Lulu, which is the most important one. She is our Searcher, she is our Ash Bait, she is our Enabler, but they're all good in their own regards. Like Lao Lao is a Monster Reborn, GG is a recursion for the end phase. Lily, it sends 2 cards instead of 1, so in terms of Virtual World, that's almost a +1 since it gets you an extra card in the graveyard. And the 2 Nian Nian, which is the brick, but it's not really a brick since it really enables extension from the graveyard, and it actually can recycle resources from the banished pile, which is really strong because you can't even banish, you can even recycle banished face down cards. So next we have the 2 Nibs and the 2 Ash, the 3 Ash, sorry. Ash is always going to be played in Virtual World just because it's a level 3, so she can combo off with Nian Nian from the graveyard. It can at least get you a rank 3 in order to do Zeus going second. And it's just a pretty generic hand trap. It combos well with Teleport also, so be mindful of that. Nib is just a high impact hand trap for going second. We don't have much space for non-engine unless we sacrifice some of the engine cards, which we can do. Really, this is just a deck I came up with. I think it's can do pretty good in tournaments, but I still need some more testing and maybe take it to locals and whatnot, right? Next we go to the spells. We have the 3 Qinglong, the 3 Kowloon. Sorry, Kowloon being the most important Virtual World card spell. Basically, it's your enabler for all your combos since it can put Chuche in your spell and trap zone, and putting Chuche means that you can send Qinglong to graveyard to search, get Lulu, etc, etc. It also turns on Chuche from turn 1, so you can actually use it going first. And going second, you can put Qinglong in order to do the Impermish effects of Qinglong to negate a monster your opponent controls. So that's pretty strong. Next, we have the 2 emergency teleports. This is just another name. It can be Lulu, it can be Nian Nian. It can be the last card you activate in order to bait stuff. It can be the first card you activate if you need to, if you need a name to play. But it's really versatile. Next, we have the Called By 2 Tactics. This is just to play after Ash, after hand traps. Hand traps don't really hurt this deck that much unless it's Ash, but Failure and Imperms really are low impact hand traps against Virtual World, since we can pretty much set up some negates and some other stuff before we even go into the main combo. It really depends on your hand, but that's the main gist of it. But Tactics is an insane card from this deck. I've always liked it in Virtual Worlds. Next we have the 2 Foolish Brewer Goods. Again, another enabler. As you can see, this deck can be pretty redundant in what it does. Since we are running Transaction Rollback now, Beatrice, if we get Nib when we do Beatrice, we can just do Foolish Brewer Goods to send the other trap we need on the graveyard in order to skip your turn, your opponent's turn, and then play after that, right? Or you can also send the Qinglong to graveyard in order to get a search for a monster that you need, or a trap. So it can really turn into different cards, and drawing it off Desires is really good. Desires being a really important card in this deck just because of the card advantage that you need in your hand in order to play. Virtual Worlds discards. Most of the graveyard effects, spell and trap effects in the graveyard need a discard, so Desires really helps you going after you discard 1 or 2 cards. And the banished face down cards can be recurse after because of the Nian. So be aware of that. That's why it's really good. It's just consistency. You can run Prosperity in the deck if you want to, but that's just thinning your options from the extra deck. It cuts the Charge Warrior draw, which is really good. The Kodo Dragon draw. I don't know. I would always play Desires in this deck, right? Next, traps. We have the 2 Chuche, which is just the best trap in the deck. It's pop. It recycles resources from banished to the deck. It modulates levels of Virtual World, so it really gets you into the rank 6s and the rank 3s that you need, or the Synchro 9s, Synchro 10s. So it's just an overall good card. It is part of your end board always, like always. Next, Zhongwu. It is the Monster Reborn of the deck. Really important too. It really gave another dimension to the deck after it was released. It is a brick. It is the one you don't want to open, basically. But if you open like Foolish Brew Goods, or you are able to get into other cards, you can actually put it in the graveyard. So it's not that bad. And once it is in your graveyard, it is really good. It is part of your combo, your main combo, so be mindful of that. And then we have lastly the Transaction Rollback, which is the new trap from Maze of Millenia, which will copy the Mayakashi trap, which is a lock out of the summoning from deck, extra deck, and hand to your opponent. So it's really consistent because Beatrice is really easy to make in the deck, and it is a really powerful combo. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. It's just 40 cards. Let's get on to the extra deck. For the extra deck, we have Beatrice, which is the main card of the deck right now. It's whenever you have the chance to lock out your opponent from doing something that's really strong. Basically, the Mayakashi trap, you're doing Artifact Scythe to your opponent, which is banned, so think about that. And you can actually recycle the rollback with the Nian once you banish it, so you can do it again next turn. So there are ways to getting back the Beatrice to the extra deck and the Nian also. You have the M7, which I love. I always run this card in Virtual World. Doesn't matter which format it is. It's removal, it is recursion, it is an extender depending on how you use it, and it's a pretty big boy also with 27. Evil Saw Lars, it is going to be part of your end board in some instances. You can sometimes banish important stuff of Desires, one of the 2 traps for your main combo, and you don't have the means to return it back to with Nian, so you can end on Lars with Baron and Chuche, sometimes Chen, so be really good. Also, it's good because it cannot be targeted while it has material, so that comes up a lot. Next we have Fan, is rank 6, really good because it banishes at the same time from field and graveyard, so against Fire Kings and Rescue Ace and all those graveyard decks, it's really insane. And again, it's a 26 attacker, so it can go well into going 2. Or Fully Armored XYZ, which is just the new Gaia Force, Gaia Charge Warrior. We just summon this on top of any rank 6 we have in order to make Zeus. And he also gains attack depending on the materials he has, so he can get pretty beefy. And after we remove an opponent's high attack monster, we can just make Zeus, wipe out the board, and we can either play Zeus control or we can continue to combo after that for going second. So we also have the Break Sword, which is just removal. It can also pop your own card, so if you have Qinglong, you start with Qinglong on the field, you can just destroy it to put it in the graveyard, destroy an opponent's card, and then you can do Qinglong to search, so that's pretty cool. Fortune Teller, Fortune Tune, which is for Zeus, it cannot be destroyed, and it protects from destruction, cannot be targeted. And finally, the Zeus, which is big boy or main play going second. It's always good, specifically this format, since destruction it's so big. like the name of the game, and Zeus doesn't destroy, it just sends everything, right? So next we go to synchros. This is the level 6 Malong. I don't have it at the moment, that's why I have the proxy, but I will have it for next video, I promise. This card modulates its level. It can increase its level to 7 or decrease it to 5, which if we increase it to 7, we can do a Baron pretty easily. So it is part of combo in turn 1. And going second, if it's sent to graveyard, it just returns a card to the hand. So you can get rid of pesky monsters like Mirror Jade or stuff that you don't want to destroy. It can return Fire Kings. So it can be an annoying piece of removal. It's like int, but returning to hand, which is in most cases a bit better than destroying. Next we have the 2 Synchro 6 that draw us cards. So they're here because they enable us to do a quick Synchro 6 to draw. We put monsters in the graveyard and then we can revive them again. They're really important if you are running Ultimaja Sulking with the Crystal Wing, because they are part of the combo in order to get those pieces out. But here we just use them as an extender, as a draw. Coral Dragon is also removal, and the Juju, which is removal, and he protects himself. He has inherent protection from destruction if you have the correct materials in the graveyard, which is, for me, it's insane. It can be annoying to deal with, and he also sends to the graveyard a card your opponent controls, so it doesn't destroy either. None of the virtual world cards destroy under effects except for Chuche. Lastly, we have the Vermilion, which is removal also, and recursion, because this can you can banish Lulu, or if you have a tuner banish, you can just destroy himself. If you get to destroy him, or if the opponent destroys it, you can just get back Lulu or get back an Ash or something from your banish to your hand, and then just continue to combo. Chen Chen, which is a menace. It's insane. It's like a mini microcosmos, right? He's great. He also recycles. He can return cards from the banish to the graveyard. So if your opponent SPs you, right, and they banish the SP, you can actually get into Chen Chen, attack with Chen Chen, and return the SP to the graveyard, which will make it so that the SP will not be able to return during the end phase. It's the other monster you targeted. For me, that's pretty good value. And the banish effect is really good against Fire King. And lastly, we have the Baron, which is Baron, Omnigate plus also recursion revival from the graveyard. So this is it for the extra deck. Next I'm gonna be with the combo, so let's get to it. So yeah, this is like one of the main combos you will be making while playing this deck. You can start off by Kowloon and any other virtual name except Nian Nian, but the combo is gonna vary depending on the virtual monster you actually open. But Lulu is the strongest opening you can have, and I'm just gonna showcase what you can do with this specific combo. So you start off by activating the Kowloon. Kowloon is gonna put a gate from deck to the field, which is gonna be your Chuche, right? After that, we do the Lulu, targeting the Chuche, which will in itself send a Qinglong to the graveyard and add a Lao Lao to the hand and summon herself. So right now we can do it, we should do it, do the Qinglong to banish itself from the graveyard, add a Lily to the hand, and we will discard a card. It's just any card, doesn't matter. These cards actually don't matter unless they're bricks, you know, but opening the bricks here is not that bad because you can just send them to the graveyard. After that, we're gonna do Lily, targeting the Chuche, right, which will send a Nian Nian, and it will send a Qinglong to the graveyard. So we have Qinglong for next turn recursion also. After that, we'll do Lao Lao, targeting whichever of these. So it has to be a monster because we need to send Shangwu to graveyard. There are other variations, like it really depends on your opening hand how the combo is going to go, but for this combo we're going to do it this way. Lao Lao in resolution, part of the effect is going to revive a Nian Nian. So the field should look like this, just 2 level 6s and 2 level 3s. the level 6s, we're gonna do a Beatrice, and Beatrice is gonna activate its effect to send a transaction rollback to the graveyard. After that, we do the Malong here. So again, sorry for the proxy. We do the Malong, we put its level to up to 7, and next we'll do the Shangwu, banish itself. So we have 2 cards in our banished in order to summon the Lulu, which is our tuner. Now with Malong and the Lulu, we'll send those both to the graveyard to do the Baron. So this is how we'll end our turn most of the time. Just actually have to discard a card because of the Shangwu. We have an Omni Negate, pop 1 card in hand, 1 random card you choose, can be an Ash probably, and during your opponent's turn you just do Beatrice effect, detach, and you'll send the Mayakashi trap. So as of right now, during your opponent's turn, we can do Transaction Rollback effect to banish itself and copy the Mayakashi trap, which will in effect block your opponent from summoning monsters from the deck, extra deck, and hand. So basically turn skips them, right? Now for your next turn, you draw a card, right? They skip your turn. You have still the Chuche, which we didn't use, but I don't think you have to use it. It really depends on the deck. But even against Labyrinth, it's going to be really strong because now they try to do like spamming, and you can actually save the transaction rollback for your turn so that you can banish it and do that lock for the turn. We have the Qinglong in graveyard, which will search a monster from the deck to the hand, and we also have the Nian Nian in graveyard. So whenever we summon, you can actually revive her. It's an extra extender, and you'll probably OTK, right? This is like the main line combo. You can vary it depending on your hands and depending on your play style, but I think this deck has a chance to be at least a tier 2 contender. People underestimate it because it's Virtual World, but right now for me it's in a better position than Sword Soul, and Sword Soul is being considered like a tier 2 deck. So yeah, that's it for this video. Please comment if you liked it, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys with more videos. If you want a Virtual World combo video, I can do that. And yeah.